up, Grayson Report? How is your weekend going? What is up, D Nice, Carol, Joanne, Lisa Boo? How is everyone doing? We'll wait for a few people to come in before I get into the nitty gritty. Mr. Spock, how's it going? While we wait for people to come in, how has your weekend been? Has anybody seen anything interesting movie wise? Is anybody wanting to see the new Crow? Lisa Boo goes, Project Metal Music says, A up, Project Metal Music. Tammy, what is up? Or did anybody do anything interesting? Maria, how's it going? While we wait for people to trickle in here. Bernadette, what is up? Lisa Boo goes, no, the original Crow is the best. Chris, how's it going? I don't plan on watching it either. I'll probably wait for it to come on streaming to check it out, but I'm probably not gonna see it in theaters. It did come out this weekend, so I'm wondering how many people actually went to go see it. Matthew, what is up? Because sorry, Brandon Lee is probably gonna be the original OG Eric Draven and always will be. Nothing against Bill Skarsgård. I think he's a wonderful actor. I just think the way they made him look, he's the hot topic Eric Draven, as I call it, or Crow. Chris goes, I'm pissed they kicked me out of the club here. Oh no! Bernadette watched Twisters, Electric Boogaloo, and Day One last night. Loved them both. That's super cool. Chris goes, I had almost a year. Oh, I hate when that happens. That's annoying. I know what you mean, Chris. I haven't watched any, no, I haven't watched anything. I've just been watching, basically binge watching American Monster. I think it's called American Monster on, Max. Had to think for a second. Pretty true crime-ish. It's basically a significant other, losing, I don't know, has something against their significant other, and then, the ultimate happens, unfortunately. It's sad to watch, because how they talk, the family members come on and talk about the person, and it's kind of sad to watch, but it's kind of interesting too at the same time. Mr. Spock goes, I got a bunch of new chickens, 20 at the auction for 12 chickens, 2 different flocks. I named the rooster Little Jerry Seinfeld. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. Chris, they didn't take the money out, did they? Bernadette! Thank you for gifting 10 memberships. Welcome, Pearl Jan, Tandra. Who wants to know? Hamilton, OT, Mickey, Joseph, Missy, Paula W, Chili Chick, Sue. Thank you, Bernadette. Hearts for Bernadette and all the new Wolfpack members. Thank you, Bernadette. You are super awesome. Mr. Spock goes, he walks around with a strut funny. Oh, that is so cool. I wish I could have something like that here, but I can't. My city does not allow that. I know there's city, I think there's a few cities near me that do, but not mine. I think you have to have the Chris. I think you have to have it checked to get gifted. Like, you have to tell it that you want to be able to, get gifted memberships, because I had to do that on mine. It gives you, like, a tab, if I'm not mistaken. For future reference, if you guys are wondering. D Nice goes, "Lisa, how are you weird?" I am just weird and proud of it. I'm special edition. I'm just kidding. Aren't we all weird though? Alright, guys, as always, Skeleduck is somewhere in my background. If you are new here, um, Skeleduck is pictured in the upper right-hand corner. I hide him every stream thanks to from the idea of D Nice, so we just started doing it. Um I hide him every stream, so he is somewhere in my background. Just remind me because I will forget, and I have forgot before I end the stream. Mr. Spot goes, "Yep, urban chickens are not legal in some places." Lisa Boo goes, "Weird is cool." D Nice goes, "What candy do you give out?" I don't really give out candy on Halloween. I know that's bad, but I really don't. I think I did it one year and that was about it. I don't have too many kids in my neighborhood anymore. Julissa goes, "Yes, we are all weirdos." Chris, maybe it didn't go through. I would triple check. Sometimes it likes to be pesky. Not just on here, but on a lot of things. D Nice goes, "When will you be on Twitch again, dropping beats?" I don't know. Let me since you guys have been asking, I'll try to go on one of these days, maybe sometime this week. If you guys have, before I get into the nitty gritty, if you guys have a spooky story, could be a website, could be a video, could be a personal story that you experience, could be about UFOs, paranormal, strange and unusual. If you have one of those and you'd like to share, email Bernadette dropped the email in the chat. It's graysonreport13@gmail.com, and I may share it on my next live stream. Just make sure you put your name that you want me to shout out as, because I don't want to shout out your real name if you don't want your real name known. So just put like your YouTube um nickname or screen name, because I don't want to shout out your real name and then D Nice. D Nice already with the questions while we wait for people to come in. I'll wait a few more minutes before we get into the nitty gritty of Grayson Report here. But D Nice goes, "What's your favorite pasta?" I like rigatoni and macaroni. I like them both actually. Mr. Spock goes, "Chicken lasagna." All right, guys. So there's been a lot of D Nice goes, "Do you like roasted or steamed Brussels sprouts?" I like Brussels sprouts. Probably both. Roasted is probably better. I would say roasted is probably better. But I like them. I like them both. I love Brussels sprouts. I could eat them for days if they're marinated or if they have the right seasoning. If they don't, then I probably wouldn't like them. Joanne goes, "Ravioli roasted garlic." Oh my gosh, that's good too. Mr. Spock goes, "I use a bottle of white wine in it and 3 cheeses." That's super cool. That sounds good too. All right, guys, if you've been following me for quite some time, you know I'm more of a paranormal believer than I am an alien believer. I do believe that there's life on other planets, but I have yet to spot a UFO or alien life form up close and personal. I don't think I will probably ever become a 100% believer until that actually happens. But there is a ex-Pentagon official who's come forward. His name is they were calling him in the Lou. I know some people say Luis. I know some people say Louis. A lot, a lot. Elizondo. Oh my god, I can't pronounce his name correctly. Elizondo. So I'm going to say Lou because they say Lou Elizondo. He has come forth saying that the government has actually had alien non-human species in their possession. Heather, whatever, what's up? So I found this article from News Nation. There's also a man that came forward who's local to my area. A few cities over that had come forth also on the news saying that he has a piece of a UFO when he was growing up in New Mexico. So I will go over that too as well. Marla goes, it's Lou Elizondo. It's weird because I could pronounce it when I was reading it. Now I'm getting tongue-tied. I just bought his book. He does have a book. If you guys are interested to check that out for some reading. But I did find this article from News Nation. It's pretty in depth. The title isn't as great. It goes full special confession of a UFO hunter. There's other articles that have, better I feel like they have better titles. I mean, there's one from the New York Post that is more eye-catching, I think, but I felt like this was more informative. Like the New York Post ones goes, ex-Pentagon official Lou Elizondo alleges U.S. recovered non-human specimens. That to me sounds more interesting, but this will work too. So it goes, he's a former Pentagon insider, a veteran investigator. Today, he's quite possibly the most important voice in the modern UFO movement. Lou Elizondo, risking his career, his family, and possibly his life, tells the story of what he claims the American government really knows about alien aircraft. There are many people responsible for the resurgence of interest in potential alien life in the universe, but perhaps no one has played a bigger role than a muscle-bound man with tattoos, a soul patch, and one heck of a story to tell. I feel like aliens have there's always been an interest, but I feel like this past year is when the aliens started really coming into the news. I mean, you've had the Las Vegas alien, where the family claimed or had said that an alien had landed in their backyard. I felt like, and then there were videos of people debunking it, like, look at this, see this, can't you see the figure? Here's the outline. And I was like, I don't see anything. I still don't see anything, no matter how close I look. But it was an amazing story nonetheless. Also, too, there was a aircraft or unidentified aircraft, you could say, caught on during the same time, caught by the police body cam, which actually kind of solidified the story. But a year later, they interviewed the family, and now he was claiming that he has paranormal activity going on in his house. So that's where I kind of felt like it kind of threw his story out the loop for me. And also too, there was the aliens in Peru, if I'm not mistaken, where they found alleged bodies and they were showing them. That I still don't I don't think it's real. I'm still skeptical about that as well. And now we have Lou here, who's actually saying that he's saying that the government has had non-human bodies. Marla goes, I believe that happened. I'm 50-50 when it comes to it. I do want to believe, but I think I'm not going to really believe. I mean, this to me kind of solidifies that there is something. And I've always believed that there is something, but I'm always going to be that. I'm going to be skeptical, which is nothing wrong with being skeptical. There's nothing wrong at all being skeptical with aliens or with paranormal. In fact, I feel like being skeptical kind of makes you a better investigator, makes you more aware of what you're reading instead of just jumping to conclusions. So there's nothing wrong with believing, and there's nothing wrong with being a skeptic as well. Because I feel like when people say they're a skeptic, I feel like people think they're bad, but it's not. It's not a bad thing. It's just they just haven't seen something. They haven't experienced something themselves to believe that that's actually happened, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Lou Alonso's new book, Eminent Inside the Pentagon, Hunt for UFOs. If you guys are interested in that book, you can probably get it. I'm assuming you probably get it on Amazon or go to a bookstore. Lays out, or if you're into digital reading, you could probably get it on a Kindle or something like that. Lay out allegations that the United States military has been running an unidentified anomalous phenomenon retrieval UAP and reverse engineering program for years, and has even recovered non-human specimens. We're not alone, Zondo told News Nation. We are not alone in this universe, and it's a simple fact. The US government has been aware of the fact for decades now. I think if the American public knew just how deep this lie went, that we would have a very significant constitutional crisis on our hands. I'm thinking if the government didn't tell us things, it wouldn't be the government. There's controversies about aspects of Alonso's resume and what exactly he did in the Pentagon with UFOs, but everyone agrees he is an Army veteran who has served in hotspots around the world. He would then go on to oversee counter-espionage and counter-terrorism investigation for the Department of Defense. To make sense of the man and his claims, you need to go back to when it all started in 2009 when Alonso was working as an intelligent operations specialist for the Department of Defense. He'd risen to the coveted GS-15 pay scale, the highest level federal employee can attain. He'd set up a comfortable life in Kent Island, Maryland, with his wife Jennifer and their 2 daughters. We had a really nice place to live. This was a great place to raise our kids, Jennifer said, and it was just a really laid back area to raise a family and to live here. But I'm getting tongue twisted on his last name, and I shouldn't be. Elizondo said that all changed after he met Jim Lukotsky, a renowned missile system expert. He was running the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application, AATIP program. I distinctly remember Jim pulling me into his office and asking, and I mean bluntly asking, what do you think about UFOs? In response, Lukotsky told News Nation, I was the sole program manager for the complete duration of DIA's AASAP, September 2008, December 2010, and worked alongside DHS in the follow-on Kona Blue program through 2011. Lou Elizondo was now involved in either AAWSAP or Kona Blue. Elizondo at the time said it was something he had little interest in. I wasn't particularly interested in science fiction as a kid, said Elizondo. I wasn't a big Star Trek fan or Star Wars fan, so I considered myself of a gumshoe investigator, old school, just the facts kind of guy, which is a good thing. So he's kind of skeptical. And Lukatsky said that's fair, but make sure that you don't let your analytical bias get the best of you. You have to remain open-minded, which is true. You still got to kind of remain open-minded, um, because if you shut things off, if you shut everything off, I don't think you would ever truly see what's in front of you. That's when, according to Elizondo, Lukatsky said he was studying and collecting information on UFOs. Elizondo claims he was invited to join a program under the AAWSAP umbrella called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. That invitation would soon become an initiative. It was a bit of like Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole, and it keeps getting deeper and deeper, says Elizondo. D Nice goes like Lewis's poster. I want to believe. Mr. Spock goes, I like the kids in the hall skit with the aliens. One alien says the other, why do you travel millions of miles? And one thing we found out is 6 out of 10 abducted, like the anal probe. D Nice wants lasagna now. He said his first epiphany came during a meeting with a Brazilian Air Force general who'd come to brief them on a series of incidents in the city called Caleres. These people, the townspeople, were plagued by UFOs. In some cases, they were being pursued, and reports of these laser beam type emissions were coming down and harming people to the point where the Brazilian government actually deployed doctors and the military to investigate. Elizondo said, and then when they arrived, they encountered these UFOs, these UAPs as well. Operation Saucer was an investigation carried out between 1977 and 1978 by the Brazilian Air Force following alleged UFO sightings in the city of Caleres. The investigation was closed after finding no unusual phenomenon. Elizondo, however, disagrees with the assessment. That was not the case, he says, and it was very clear that it was a very legitimate investigation, and what they found was that these things were coming in and out of the area and harming people. As Elizondo went further down the rabbit hole, he said he learned that many of the classic UFO cases were much more than legends, including the famous 1947 incident in Roswell, New Mexico. There was a UAP that crashed. In fact, there were 2 UAPs that crashed, and one flew away while the other one did not, Elizondo claims. And it was recovered by the U.S. government. I'm not saying it doesn't sound crazy. What I'm saying is it's real. D Nice, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome, Wilma, Dory, Teapots, Jilly Bean, and Patrick Barron to the Wolfpack. Hearts for D Nice and the new Wolfpack members. Thank you, D Nice, and welcome new Wolfpack members. Don't be afraid to say hi. We do not bite. We're kind of like a big old family in the chat. Tyranna! Thank you! Mr. Spock goes, it was not a weather balloon. UAP encounters. Some people leave terrified, injured. I think in order to understand if something is a threat from a national security perspective, it's a very simple calculus. It's capabilities versus intent. Elizondo said, we see some of the capabilities, and by the way, we can't replicate them. We have no idea the intent. So to presume or to assume that these things are friendly or they're hostile, there's not enough data. Doof, thank you for your super chat. Love what you do. Hearts for Doof Paranormal. If you guys like paranormal as well, Doof is the channel to check. She's similar to mine. I believe she is going to this haunted hotel, I believe. So stay tuned for that one in London, if I'm not mistaken. So stay tuned for that one. Follow Doof Doof Paranormal to check that out. She has an awesome channel as well. Thank you, Doof Doof. Hearts for Doof Doof, guys. Elizondo says the Pentagon's UFO investigations were keenly interested in the impact of UAPs were having one individual, especially military personnel. There are enough reports that substantiate that not all these interactions are necessarily benign or peaceful. He said some people leave terrified, some people leave injured. There are U.S. service people. There are people who are 100% disability are on 100% disability right now from the U.S. government because of an interaction with the UAP. Ooh, interesting. And it is in writing, by the way, from the U.S. government because of their involvement in an incident. I mean, it's a given. If anybody came face to face with an alien, I guess the more reports of people saying they've encountered aliens, they look like, Gary here, who I have on my mic. I always figured that maybe not the, Doof, hold on. Doof Doof is going to the Paris catacombs as well? No way. Doof Doof. That's going to be awesome. Sorry, I had to stop for that one. That's going to be cool. What's up, Rochelle? Sorry, I know I kind of went bird on you guys there, but I had to stop for that one. So I get with people being terrified. Just imagine coming face to face with one of these, and them taking you on their ship and you not knowing what they're doing. You know what I mean? That would be terrifying. I find it plausible, but I'm still a little skeptical when it comes to that. But I see how that could happen because we do the same exact thing. I know I'm always saying when we find something new, that's what we're going to do. We're going to examine it. So it makes sense that an alien would do the same thing to us because that's exactly what we would do to them. And they probably know it too. But what I find interesting is they're saying that there's people that are on disability. This article is saying that there's people on disability because of an interaction with the UAP. That is crazy. Like, why are they on disability? Is there something that happened to them? Did they get exposed to something or like radiation maybe? I don't know. The Veterans Administration has granted full medical disability benefits to Airman John Burroughs for injuries to his heart and eyes that he claims to have suffered during the famous 1980 UAP incident in England's Rendlesham Forest. A series of reported sightings of explained lights just outside Royal Air Force Woodbridge, which was used at the time by the United States Air Force. Elizondo said that's just the tip of the iceberg. We came across information unrelated to Rendlesham Forest that suggested that people were having things put inside their bodies that they did not give approval to. Alonso said something invasive that was not put there by their permission. I mean, a lot of things. I'm a huge X-Files fan. They've always, Scully, in fact, even had an implant in her, but that's always been the story of what I've seen about abductions, that something is put inside their body, like they're thinking, like maybe a traction device to find them or something like that. But I've heard that happening, and that's kind of scary. If you found one of those in you and you had no idea where it came from, that would scare the crap out of me. A photo he claims shows one of these interesting things. It's allegedly a biological sample that was removed from a U.S. service member and submitted for analysis. If you look here, there's actually a piece of the chip sticking out and what appears to be these fibers that were moving on their own, Elizondo said, and then it looks like this chip or whatever this foreign object is encapsulated by some sort of biological material. In this particular case, this was moving on its own. It actually had its own metabolic activity, and it terrified one of the doctors who was looking at this under a microscope. But a UAP abducting people at random, or are they drawn to certain individuals? Elizondo claims research has revealed a fascinating pattern among UAP experiences and a fascinating part of the brain. This is part of the brain known as the caudate putamen, and it is a very specific part of the brain, and it's responsible for all sorts of stuff. Some have even speculated precognition, foreknowledge of a paranormal kind. Elizondo said that part of the brain is larger in people with alleged psychic powers, or what he says the US government has called remote viewing. Stanford immunologist Dr. Gary Nolan has been researching this topic, and while his conclusions are not definitive, there are two working theories. One, people with naturally large cadate, I know I am butchering this, I apologize in advance, Putman might attract UAPs like antennas. So they're saying a psychic might attract UAPs like an antennae. Another, that UAP encounters with people can cause the part of a brain to get larger. But my understanding also too is if a person that is gifted, they're also a beacon to the paranormal world. So that's kind of interesting that they put that here, is that you're also a beacon to aliens. Elizondo argues that people with enhanced cadate Putman might have talent both for remote viewing and communicating with UAPs. It's an important point because it's an established fact that the Pentagon has had an interest in remote viewing for military purposes, except they kind of make it more scientific in this article. A lot of people that were in the remote viewing program, or who were gifted, had MRIs done on their brains, and a vast majority have that specific morphology, Elizondo said. Remote viewing was discredited by the CIA when the agency determined that it didn't work. It absolutely works, according to Elizondo. He says he knows it works because he was trained in remote viewing himself. This sounds so absurd. I don't know why. I don't know, because they're like remote viewing. I feel like they should just say a person with psychic ability. I don't know if about you guys. That alleged capability for remote viewing and its potential connection to non-human intelligence may sound like a gift. Elizondo, however, says it was also partially a curse. He says that because after years of studying UAP encounters, he began to experience what's known in UAP circles as the hitchhiker effect. The alleged phenomenon of UAPs appearing at his home, perhaps because he was attracting them. Do you think that can happen? Because he was studying UAP encounters that he was attracting them. D Nice goes, possibly. Thank you, Rochelle. Gunner Girl, what is up? Heather Whatever goes, Chuck Missler felt it was spiritual for reasons I won't bring in here. Delea goes, aliens aren't illegal. Mr. Spock goes, they're already here, we just don't know where to look. Cool. Like, could be like a which I don't, that's a good reasoning. Like how in They Live, they could look like us, but they're actually aliens, or in V, if you guys are familiar with those two shows. V was more, I guess they were kind of alien, but they were more lizard-like. Joanne goes, you attract what you focus on. That makes sense. Heather Whatever goes, spiritual openings are spirit protected. I mean, that now that you guys are kind of saying, like what Joanne says, you attract what you focus, that makes it more makes sense. Mr. Spockers are a different dimension. There are some people that think aliens are interdimensional creatures. I think if you guys are familiar with what's his name? Tom Deluge, I think is his last name, from Blink-182. I believe he's one of the people that believe that they are interdimensional beings, if I'm not mistaken. And I know he's always been he's always been into aliens and all that good stuff. We would have these weird glowing balls of light in the house, he said. They were green, they were small, they were diffused, kind of like a little neon ball. His wife Jennifer said she would routinely see orbs, small little spherical, lightish green type of color, and be just walking down the hall, and I would just stop and it would just continue to do right through the wall. Jennifer said strange happenings turned the house upside down, and then a video that would shock the world and change it. November of 2004, the USS Nimitz carrier strike group was doing what they called workups right off the coast of San Diego. As they were doing this, there are two different radar arrays that were picking up these objects over the course of several days that were dropping from 80,000 feet, and within about a second or less, all of a sudden being 50 feet over the water and hovering and then popping back up again. Elizondo said he believes these were absolutely intelligent technology. It's responsive and reactive, and it's not human. It's not ours, he says. Though the Nimitz incident had occurred back in 2004, Elizondo didn't see the video until 2009. Then in 2015, it happened again. Mr. Spock goes, there are two known universes, the light and the dark. Heather Whatever goes, American Indians believe Bigfoots are spiritual. Naval aviators attached to the USS Roosevelt recorded two other videos during exercise off the coast of Florida that caught the attention of intelligence consultant and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Chris Mellon. The Navy was experiencing a number of incursions into restricted airspace, Mellon said, and I met Elizondo at the Pentagon and began to hear about these incursions. And the more I learned, the more I realized that we had a potential disaster on our hands. The videos remain undisclosed to the public for years, and it's easy to see why. There weren't just strange objects in the sky. They conformed to what the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP, would establish as the five observables. The five observables include instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic velocity, low observability, medium travel, and anti-gravity. In essence, the ability to devise Earth natural gravitational forces without the associated technology, Elizondo says. So I'm assuming the five observables is like kind of like a table, or you say that you would go by to identify an unidentified flying object, which makes sense. Hypersonic velocity, crazy acceleration, medium travel, anti-gravity, it all makes sense. That would be something that our airplanes can't do, or the technology that we have can't do. So it makes sense that something unidentified would have these characteristics. He said AATIP also identified another pattern in several instances. UAPs have allegedly appeared near American nuclear facilities or weapon systems. Both the Nimitz and the Roosevelts are nuclear powered. We do know that there is a very significant interest that UAPs has toward our nuclear technology, Elizondo said. A daunting thought to be sure, but Elizondo said AATIP also developed a hypothesis that the UAPs might have an Achilles heel, a vulnerability that the American military can exploit. The only thing I can think of why UAPs would go toward nuclear technology would be for the energy, maybe. But then, with what I have read, alien technology is more advanced than I'm getting all these crazy popped up. Is more advanced to us, so I figured why would they be looking at nuclear technology? So it makes no sense. That's kind of, maybe they just want to see what we're doing, because I feel like they're already light years ahead of us. So why would they be looking at the nuclear technology? A daunting thought to be sure, but Elizondo said AATIP also developed a hypothesis that the UAPs might have. Oh, I already read that. I apologize, guys. The general consensus was that these vehicles, their propulsion units, are susceptible to an electromagnetic pulse, meaning they are using a technology that the electromagnetic it would interfere with their ability to fly and maneuver. Elizondo said, "What is up, Nerd Report?"
What is up? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, it's Elizondo.
Oh, Elizondo, thank you.
Elizondo, and it's Luis Elizondo. He's a political prisoner from Cuba.
Okay, Elizondo. Okay, I was getting tongue twisted on his last name. Elizondo. Okay. So
Is that
what's
okay?
up? Yes.
What are your questions?
That was it.
Ah, you want to continue reading this article and then we'll get into it?
Yeah.
Folks, listen to Lisa. This is going to get good. I know a little bit more about it to add, not more than her, obviously, but I could add a little bit more to it and some more context maybe. But keep the chat going and stuff. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about aliens. And Lisa, I don't know, but this actually gets into supernatural stuff. So this is actually, it's going to transcend. If you not into UFOs or ETs, this is going to go into like something, from multi-dimension, maybe, other side, ghostly things. So let's go.
Well, his wife earlier in the article was talking about seeing orbs, which is kind of paranormal, and then also saying that people that are gifted,
Yes,
like psychic wise, are like a beacon to UFOs, which is kind of strange because in the paranormal world, that's what they say about people that are medians, that they're kind of like a beacon, and they're kind of like a light to, so that's how, they draw in, the paranormal. So that's kind of weird that they said that about UFOs.
yeah. How much more to this article? Because I want to get into it. I'm really excited. We got like 22 people here. Keep the conversation going. I want to thank D Nice for sending me a generous PayPal. D Nice is always helping, but I do want everybody to concentrate on please supporting Lisa. She's been out of a job for a while. I know she doesn't want to say it all the time. It's been hard for her to get a job. She's been applying everywhere to get work. She's not being lazy, and honestly, folks, there's nothing. They don't give her a chance, and she's a really good worker and stuff like that. So right now she's unemployed, but she's looking for employment. Meanwhile, she wants to bring the content to you all. So if you guys want to start off a super chat, train, or whatever, but if you can't, do not worry about it. Keep watching, keep subbing, keep the conversation going, because that lifts the spirits, and that's what we really need. Okay, Lisa, let's finish this up.
Also, real quick, I want to give a shout out to D Nice too for her PayPal as well.
Amazing.
Thank you, D Nice. Hold on, let's see where hold on. Yeah, I lost my spot.
I messed up everything. All right.
Building on the hypothesis of Elizondo said his team devised an audacious secret plan to disable and capture one of those objects. We have proposed a honey trap, Operation Interloper, to try to collect data and information on these UAPs. He said, you have a nuclear power carrier with other nuclear power vessels, potentially nuclear powered submarines, which also may have potentially nuclear weapons. He explains, so the idea to create a nuclear footprint that is so irresistible to these things that we would create a trap, and then that trap would be sprung. Operation Interloper, however, never made it past the planning phase. Elizondo said the shelving of Operation Interloper was just one of the several puzzling and frustrating setbacks to AATIP's mission. Eventually, he came to believe it was more than just bureaucratic efficiency and that someone was trying to block his team from making progress. I took an oath to the American people to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic, he said, and turns out that the enemy was elements in our government or in our own government. It's the bureaucracy That realization would lead to the biggest and riskiest decision of Elizondo's life. To accomplish my mission, I knew I had to leave, he said. His next chapter, if it is true that the Pentagon's so-called legacy program has been secretly retrieving and studying non-human craft and even bodies.
Could I interrupt there real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as the nuclear stuff's concerned, maybe we should talk about it as we go. The nuclear stuff is this. For some reason, after what is it? Oppenheimer, right? The Manhattan Project, the nuclear bomb from World War II. There's been an uptick of UFO sightings, especially around nuclear facilities. Why? Did that experiment or the nuclear bombs open a portal to a different dimension? Did it wake up beings that are on Earth that we didn't see through the tremors, that we didn't know were there? Did it signal into outer space something? Because ultimately, nuclear power is the ultimate power in the universe. Because think about it, every star you look at, the sun, is the nuclear reactor. So maybe these aliens or whatever they are trying to check out what is that so they could use it. Who knows? Right? Go ahead.
But I'm thinking though, what has been said is their technology is more advanced than ours. So why would they want to look at that? Don't they have something stronger?
Well, why do we always assume that they are? And then also, why do we always assume their technology is better? Because they could travel here? Okay. Let's say they have the technology to travel. But why are we saying that they have the technology of war? Maybe our war technology is better than theirs. War meaning nuclear bombs, nuclear war, right? So maybe they're advanced in some parts, and maybe they're not as advanced because they're not interested in it in other parts. We're just assuming, we're assuming everything, the evolution went just like us. Okay. So people think if aliens came to Earth, they're automatically going to say we're dumb and we want to fight each other and we're out of here. Well, we don't know if aliens are actually anti-war. We don't know that. Well, every creature on Earth is territorial. You put black ants with red ants, they're going to fight. You put bears with a different tribe of bears, they're going to fight. Aliens may have war too. Who knows? Right?
True. We're just only basing our knowledge on what has been put out for us is basically what it is. So, right. I mean, a lot of it's probably based on, because you're saying like why are we assuming? A lot of it's probably based on assumption.
A lot of it is like, why do the aliens have 2 feet, 2 arms, 2 eyes? Like, well, because we want them to look like us. Maybe they don't. Yeah,
they may not necessarily look like the little green men that we see on TV or what people have been describing.
Right.
But who knows until we actually see one ourselves.
So what he wants to do real quick, here, there's 2 things. He says they're attracted to nuclear power. Okay. And then this whole thing is about talking about setting up a trap with a nuclear, like a pulse, electrical pulse that will knock the ships down, and they would be able to trap one. That's what they're talking about.
And they kind of gave a background of who he is too, as well.
Oh, Elizondo? Luis, yeah. He's his dad's a Cuban. He's from Cuba. He was in the Bay of Pigs. Or he plowed it with the Bay of Pigs. This guy's a real big patriot, like super patriot. Sorry.
So, where are they now? Area 51, right? Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio or somewhere else? No one has come forward with those specifics, not even famed military intelligence officer turned UFO whistleblower David Grush, who went public on News Nation last year. There comes a point in Elizondo's book where he names names. He mentions Lockheed Martin, McDonnell Douglas, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Raytheon, and Bay Systems as being some of the private corporations that are involved in working on retrieval alien technology. Lockheed Martin flatly denied the allegations in a statement to News Nation. Of course, they're going to. Questions about UAPs are best addressed by the U.S. government, a company spokesperson said. Raytheon also denied the claims. This also certainly goes without saying, but no, we've never had access to alien technology, the company said in a statement to News Nation. Elizondo also claimed some non-human alien biosamples are now being kept at Fort Detrick in Maryland. He claims some of the answers and perhaps the biological samples can be found at the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the National Institute of Health. Certainly, we know that a lot of these samples were farmed out to experts like the NIH and the FDA, which absolutely fall under the authorities of the building. Logically, it makes sense that there are people in that building right now that may know the location of where these biological samples are, Elizondo said. The defense companies he names, the Pentagon and the Department of Health and Human Services, all categorically deny Elizondo's claims. Of course, they're going to. He claims those denials are only possible because he could never get the evidence to prove their involvement once and for all. The FDA has not had and does not have biological samples from non-human intelligence in our possession, the agency said in a statement to News Nation. Elizondo wanted to investigate those alleged samples and said he was denied access. We began to run into some fierce resistance, Elizondo said. The more we continue to investigate, the increased level of that resistance became clear that there were elements. The only way I can describe them as religious fundamentalist or a group euphemistically dubbed the Collins Elite. The Collins Elite has long been rumored to be a cabal of religious fanatics within the Pentagon. Many consider them a myth, but Elizondo thinks otherwise. That group is alive and well, he says. It exists. I encountered elements of that group firsthand. There are religious fundamentalists inside the Pentagon and inside the U.S. government, and specifically the intelligence community, that have a very strict interpretation of their physiological belief system. He recounts one specific encounter with a high-ranking member of the so-called Collins Elite, a conversation that sounded like a threat to him. Someone stopped me in the halls of the Pentagon and said, "Have you read your Bible lately?" And I was kind of surprised by the question. "I know what the Bible says. What, may I ask specifically, do you mean?" He says. "You know what we're dealing with are demons. These are demonic beings, and we shouldn't be looking at them." There are some people that do believe that aliens are demonic beings, and I have mentioned it before on previous streams. Aside from potential religious motivations for the secrecy, Elizondo suggests there could be also be geopolitical considerations at play, possibly Russia and China. They're always a concern when a foreign adversary is looking at something, he said, Elizondo. There is this cat and mouse game where we don't want the adversaries to know what we have. We also don't want adversaries to know what we don't know. Whatever the motivations for the alleged cover-up, Elizondo said, it went beyond bureaucratic foot dragging. Oh, people were absolutely threatened. He said, you know, some of our folks were told, if you're not careful, we're going to do exactly to you what we did with the Rosenbergs. Elizondo describes the mounting obstruction of denied requests, scraped plans, threats, and the refusal to disclose any of this to the public, Congress, or the president. By early 2017, it had become too much for Elizondo. He resigned from the AATIP after going public. In the letter addressed to the Secretary of Defense, James Mattis, Elizondo said he was quitting because, despite overwhelming evidence, certain individuals in the department remain staunchly opposed to further research on the controversial topic of anomalous aerospace threats. They made my life hell, he said. There's still a lot more. Hard times ahead. On December 16th of 2017, the world woke up to a bombshell. Elizondo, working with Chris Mellon, had gone public with the now famous USS Nimitz video. I contacted 3 different news organizations. Eventually, the New York Times editors were persuaded they had enough to do a cover story, Mellon said. The Times published an explosive article revealing the Pentagon's secretive UFO program. Elizondo suddenly became an international public figure once the story broke. It was terrifying, he said. I had spent my entire life living in the shadows as an intelligence officer, Anonymity is your friend. Coming out was for me one of the most difficult experiences. Suddenly, Elizondo's face became synonymous with the UFO question. Now, with his days at the Pentagon behind him, he has devoted himself to the cause. He took a job with To the Stars Academy, a UFO research and advocacy group founded by Blink-182 singer and guitarist Tom DeLonge. I mentioned him earlier. Together, they appeared on History's Unidentified Inside America UFO investigation, which garnered him even more fame. That attention, however, came at a price. I did not think that our lives would be this turned upside down, turned inside out for this many years. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, said his wife, Jennifer. The Office of Special Investigation, OSI, within the U.S. Air Force opened a criminal investigation into Elizondo. The initial allegations was that I was responsible for unauthorized disclosures and that I stole classified videos out of the Pentagon and a whole bunch of stuff, he said. And long story short, the Air Force OSI came back and said, nope, actually, we seized the computers. No wrongdoing. He didn't take anything home. He never had a conversation about anything classified. Everything's unclassified. The Pentagon had
Sorry.
Oh, go for it.
Now, just so you know, I don't think you're going to be able to read all this because what you're reading is a transcript of the interview that was on News Nation.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to be reading for days. So you may want to, like, long story short it, if you want. But, you know, the thing is, Luis Elizondo,
the tongue twister.
yeah, no, look, I like the guy. I like what he's doing. But at the bottom line, it's all like, I know of this, I know of that. And I'm at the point where I want to see it. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, that's a problem. Like when I cover UFO stuff, is like, yeah, I love the UFO stuff, but I love seeing it. And what we've gotten even by the whistleblowers is, you know, allegations, but no alien body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think they want to disclose that information, so they're going to deny it.
Right, but well, I mean, it's still frustrating, you know, because I think after all this time, you know, we want to see it. You know, press 1 if you want to see an alien.
I mean, I think we all do, but we still would probably be skeptical about it unless we see it with our own eyes, like up close and personal.
Yeah, moving around, talking to us.
Yeah. Like
know,
actually coming out of the spaceship going hi, like, you know, like the Cataments from Twilight Zone, like that type of thing.
And then nowadays, like, we're not going to believe it anyways, because we don't believe anything. You know, like people don't believe anything.
Well, it's too hard to believe because with technology nowadays, it's so easy just to add something into your video or you know, edit a noise or put an alien, you know, standing right next to you and make it look like almost real. So it's kind of hard to believe anything unless you see.
You are 100% correct. But I'm getting called right now. My son wants to kill zombies, and I haven't played with him for a long time. But I want to say thank you for letting me on this channel for tonight, and you all please continue to support Lisa here, and you know, continue the conversation, keep talking, because then she'll fall asleep and you don't want that. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. So what I'll do is, he's right, it's super long. What I'll do is I'll read the last paragraph and then we'll continue. Age of Enlightenment on July 26th of 20, because we pretty much got the gist of what he experienced and what the government was trying to accuse him of, even though they went and said, hey, he didn't, you know, release any classified information. On July 26th of 2023, Navy pilot Ryan Graves, Navy Commander David Fravor, and former Air Force Intelligence Officer David Gresh testified at a congressional hearing seen around the world. It was a very profound and proud moment for me, said Elizondo. You had 3 military personnel testifying on the reality of UAPs. Now that's historic. That was about a year ago. We haven't heard anything since, so I'm wondering what their plan is. If they're going to actually show us something, if they're going to actually come forward and say, hey, yeah, this has been happening, and come clean. I don't know. They need to. It felt for a moment, the people want to know. We're interested in this. We've always wanted to know if there's life on other planets and if they're actually coming here. So, I mean, this would be big if they came out and said, hey, you know, yes, what you've heard is true, but we don't, even if they don't want to disclose all, you know, everything, which I have a feeling that's what they don't want to do. They don't want to disclose what they know, so other countries may not know what we know, probably. But still, like, at least come out and say something to give us to prove to back up these people. You know what I mean? It felt for a moment like the dam was breaking and that full disclosure was about to happen, but it didn't work out like that. First, AARO refuted Gresh's claims. Then, like Alonzo, Gresh became the subject of a discrediting campaign, including his medical history. They start seeing dissension and they start misinformation and trying to question his loyalty and his credibility, said Alonzo. They tried to discredit him just like they tried to do me, just like they tried with anybody else who comes out and steps out of rank. AARO has publicly declared that it has found no evidence to support any claims of a government UAP retrieval program. As for the UAP captured in the famous videos, they remain unidentified. At no point did I prove false information to Congress. In fact, my team and I provided actual evidence to back up all of our findings and research, something that all of the other claimants have failed to do, Kirkpatrick said in a response to News Nation. The Pentagon says AARO will follow the data whenever it leads, and that they've found no credible evidence in extraterrestrial activity. Elizondo said he would absolutely testify before Congress if given the opportunity. So, guys, do you think the government is hiding information? I think they are, and I think they just don't want to. Obviously, they're going to deny it. I don't think they want us knowing what they know. I don't know what the reasonings are. I think maybe they just don't want us to know, or they don't want other countries to know what we know too. So, I mean, Heather, whatever goes, they should never try to demon a hero as he is described. Rochelle goes, I'm beginning to think that even our own births are conspiracy. Lisa Boo goes, I can't believe that they have information they do not want us to know. Just making sure, scrolling to see the comments. Heather, whatever goes, yes, they're good at hiding stuff. Sherry goes, yes. Joanne goes, yes to my question. Julissa goes, I would not put it past the government to hide stuff. Rochelle goes, I'm always on the side of we never know the actual truth. Heather, whatever goes, can I get a new birth date the year anyway? I think we all would want that. There was also, which is kind of crazy because we have Louis come out. And the only reason why, because his name is the same as Lewis, and I wasn't sure how he pronounced it. But there's also a gentleman in Rolling Heights here in SoCal who's local to me and to some of us, who has said that he owns a piece of a craft. And I'm not sure it did appear on local news. I didn't catch it, but I did see a repeat of it. This goes, I witnessed a UFO crash and aliens flee the ship, and I have a piece of the craft to prove it. A man from Los Angeles claims that he witnessed aliens fleeing from a UFO after it crash landed in the desert, and he has a piece of the spacecraft to prove it. Jose Padilla was just 9 years old, a 9-year-old boy growing up in San Antonio, New Mexico, when he and his friend discovered the avocado-shaped UFO. To this day, he swears that what he witnessed was real. Here is a picture of Jose. The encounter occurred while the two boys were horseback riding in the desert just 13 miles from the Trinity nuclear test site. Robert Oppenheimer and other members of the Manhattan Project detonated the world's first nuclear bomb in 1945. The encounter occurred that very same year, and at first Padilla thought the sound of the crash was just another bomb test. He told CBS News Los Angeles, "I told my friend it must be another test from the bomb, and he said, no, it's not a bomb. Look at the smoke coming out from the ground," Padilla said. Upon closer inspection, the smoke appeared to be coming from a crashed aircraft. Then, all of a sudden, 3 extraterrestrials emerged from the aircraft and began sashaying and running in circles, he said. But I had seen the article, the interview. I think he said that there were 3, like, they were the size of kids, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, so don't quote me. But Padilla wasn't afraid of these creatures. They had crashed at my father's ranch and they needed help, he said. Over the next 10 days, the military cleaned up the wreckage while Padilla and his friends watched from a nearby ridge, despite being warned to stay away. Here is a rendering of what Padilla claims to have seen. It was kind of like an avocado shaped craft. "We were hiding behind cactuses," he said. When the soldiers took a break from cleaning up the wreckage, Padilla and his friends entered the aircraft. The extraterrestrials were gone, giving Padilla the perfect opportunity to extract a souvenir from inside. He pulled a small dial off the wall, brought it home, and hid it in his garage. Frontier Analysis, a chemical testing lab based in Ohio, and analyzed the artifact in 2015. Their report revealed that it was made of aluminum mixed with silicone and copper, CBS Los Angeles reported. The mix of metals is commonly found in engine parts, and the report stated that the isotopic ratios were terrestrial. So, this is a rendering of the dial. I believe the part that he took is this lever, if I'm not mistaken. But an extraterrestrial source of the metals could not be ruled out, the report stated. No one knows. I don't want to know what that video is. That looks disgusting. No one knows what it is, Padilla said. The years passed and Padilla moved from San Antonio to Rolling Heights, an unincorporated area of Los Angeles, California, and quietly raised a family, but he always held on to the strange artifact from his childhood. So this is what he claims he took off of the spacecraft. Oh, sorry. Sorry, D Nice. Sorry, guys. I thought I was sharing my screen. Thank you, D Nice. Sorry, guys. So hold on. I apologize. I do that every once in a while. So this is Jose Padilla, who I was talking about. Thank you, D Nice. He claims that he witnessed a UFO. When he was about 9 years old. He also said that around the time he lived near the area where Oppenheimer had set off was testing the nuclear bomb. He said that he spotted this they say avocado shape. This doesn't look avocado shaped to me. Avocado seed shape craft. And he said that, as I was reading, he said that he watched them clear it away and they were hiding behind cactuses. Here is a rendition of the dial where he pulled off this handle part that he has claimed is from the ship. He had the metals tested. They did say that it was metals that are used in engine parts, but the isotopic ratios were terrestrial, and that the extraterrestrial source could not be ruled out. So here is the piece that he took and he kept in his garage from then on. I am not sure. To me, that looks like any other piece. I don't know about you guys. That just looks like a normal piece that came off of anything. It looks like something that could be made here. But he's held on to it ever since. Rochelle goes, it's a dinosaur egg. Heather Wetter goes, he looks like it's a good time to spill the goods as he looks rather old. I believe he's like 89 or something. It didn't say in this. He's in his 80s. It didn't say in this article how old he was. I think in the interview it did, but not this article, unfortunately. In 2012, Padilla and the friend who was with him when he witnessed the UFOs were interviewed by investigative journalist and UFO researcher Paola Harris. At that time, Harris was investigating a claim by the son of the World War II Army pilot William Brophy. Brophy's son told Harris that one of his father's last missions were to fly over the area that Padilla claims the UFO crash landed in. During one such flight, he saw two young boys on horseback. Harris told CBS Los Angeles she believes those two little boys were Padilla and his friends. And I guess it ends there. So this man is claiming that that is a piece of a UFO, and this is what he says. I mean, I can't dismiss what he's saying, though that piece, like I said, that piece does look like something you could find anywhere. So it's kind of hard to kind of, I'm still always going to have that piece of skepticism when it comes to it. But what do you guys think? So do you guys think that he's sincere? I mean, he really has nothing to gain from it, honestly, by telling his story. So I feel like he is sincere. I don't feel like D Nice Ghost sounds like he found an Autobot transformer robots in disguise. Matthew goes, that piece is definitely made on Earth. Heather Whatever goes, how do they know it's terrestrial unless they have extraterrestrial to compare? And I don't mean space rocks. True, but technically, allegedly, the U.S. government does already. Rochelle goes, well, I can imagine any foreign object is going to give off some sort of radiation or some sort of different energy. Something will happen with that. True. I didn't think of that, but true. Heather Wetter goes, are his friends still around? I believe the friend that he was with, they said he moved away. If you guys want to check out the interview, it is floating around on YouTube. You guys can check it out. Rochelle goes, I think he's telling a story the way he saw it. Lisa Boo goes, did they test the piece? They did in 2015, I believe the article said. And it said, the mix of metals is commonly found in engine parts, and the report stated that the isotonic ratios were terrestrial, but an extraterrestrial source for the metals could not be ruled out. The report stated no one knows what it is, Padilla says. I like Matthew says, it looks like it honestly looks like something you could get here. So it's kind of hard for me to say like that's extraterrestrial. It doesn't look out of the ordinary to me. D Nice goes, that looks like a steel soap I got from Dazio that's supposed to help rid of onion and garlic smell. It sort of works. Heather Whatever goes, UFO toilet plunger piece. That looks like something like even out of an engine part, like honestly, to be honest with you. It really does. That honestly looks like a part out of an engine or part of a car or something, in my opinion. But I agree with Rochelle. I think he's telling the story as he believes it. I think he's sincere. I don't think he's making this up. He has nothing to, he has nothing to gain, nothing to lose, honestly. So I feel like he is being sincere. He is on the older side, so but like we said earlier, I don't think anyone's going to believe unless we see it with our own eyes, like in person. If we're at a press conference and they actually go, hey, we've got a human being, and like how I said the Canamints from Twilight Zone, but without the cookbook, how they came off the ship and started talking to us. I don't think we're going to believe until we see that. But I'm more into Heather Wetter goes, he's tired of his grandkids rolling their eyes. There goes Grandpa again with that story. But yeah, probably. He's probably tired of people, no one believing him. So he finally was like, here, I got a piece of the ship. This is my story. I don't blame him. Lisa Boo, I same here. I want to believe. I have the poster somewhere behind me. You probably can't see it. It's somewhere oh, you can't see it. It's right where Sam is behind me. I do have the poster, Mulder's poster, I want to believe. The truth is out there. Or Rochelle Artha, another unpopular analogy is when the Spice Girls movies, they ran into aliens. Heather, whatever goes, tell him you believe him. You know what, to be honest with you, I do. I believe him. Though that part looks like, like Matthew says, it looks like a part you can find here. I believe his story. I really do, because I feel like he has nothing to cover. Like he's an older man. He has nothing. What is he going to gain off of it? You know what I mean? I feel like his story is plausible, and it's kind of cool that he was able to witness the testings that Oppenheimer did. How awesome is that? Think of that. Matthew goes, the skeleton is out there. Oh, that would be good on a shirt. The skeleton is out there. D Nice goes, I always mix their names up in the 90s, Moldy and Sculler. It's funny. I saw an interview. I know I'm going kiltered here, but I saw an interview with David Coney because it just popped up. And I was like, yeah, let's watch it. And it's funny. He took the job because he doesn't believe in the the stuff that the X-Files did. They did, they had the freak of the week. They had, paranormal. They had UFOs. They had a mix of things. And he didn't really believe it, and he didn't think the show was going to go that far, but he took it because he needed a job. And boom, look at what happened. This article that I have next, it's not really spooky, but I thought it was kind of funny. It takes the person of this article kind of took your creepy dolls and gave it a backstory. And I thought this was kind of creative. This is on Yahoo Life, and this article was written by Carrie Gray. And it's humor, creepy dolls haunted by the ghost of millennials, scary but familiar backstories for some spooky toys at my local antique store. And you know me, I love spooky dolls, and previous stream I was talking about a Elizabeth, the haunted doll that they said that doesn't like women and had no backstory. And I go, what is the backstory? So this kind of gives you a humorous aspect to these creepy dolls, and I wanted to share because I thought it was kind of something different. Have you ever thought of buying a haunted doll on eBay but felt you didn't understand the struggles of depressed Victorian ghost? Don't overthink it. Buy one of these creepy dolls haunted by the ghost of a millennial. Their backstories will be far more relatable. Kate. So here's Kate. Kate followed the trends. I want to say this person just went to their local antique store and just found like creepy looking dolls and just gave them a backstory, which is kind of cool. Kate followed the trends when they said to wear yellow. She wore yellow. When they told her to straighten her hair, Kay straightened her hair. She obeyed the whim of every trend. That's what killed her in the end. I won't go into the gory details. Suffice it to say, no one should be doing arts and crafts with highly flammable materials without proper training, no matter how easy influences claims it to be. Kate is a ghost doll who doesn't know who she is because she's never explored her interest. She needs someone to take her home who will nurture her, read her books, dress her in fun outfits, and feed her different foods until she finds what she likes, not what someone tells her to enjoy. Then her spirit will be free, unless being a haunted doll becomes cool, in which case she's screwed. Addie. Addie. Which, this doll doesn't look creepy to me. She looks cute. The spiteful creature is Addie. When she was human, she was obsessed with being that girl. She organized her life hour by hour in a gorgeous planner, went on picturesque walks to take selfies, and optimized her life to an extreme level. It's no wonder she had a heart attack at age 25. Addie spends all her time sending out negative energy when her owners aren't living up to her inner twisted opinion, their fullest potential. She doesn't do anything physical, but will give you bad vibes from time to time. Take her in at your own risk. Tim! This beautiful young, I don't know if he's young, doll is named Tim. Tim hated his corporate job. He found freedom in his woodworking. Then he found fame. The hobby became a job, and to his horror, he was once again in the rat race. Except now, Tim didn't even have a hobby to help him cope. Perhaps that's why he wasn't paying attention that fateful day while working with a power saw. Whatever the reason, Tim is cursed to do hobbies forever. You'll awaken in the morning to find little paintings, snippet of pottery, cakes, and the like. He won't hurt you. He's simply trying new hobbies until he finds that one that sparks joy again. Megan has no face. Megan doesn't like to be left out. That's the first thing you need to know. Alive, she was constantly worried about missing out on fun. Now she needs to be invented to go with you everywhere. No, she doesn't actually want to go. She wants to feel included. Those leaving the house without inviting her to tag along will return to find their home trashed, which they deserve for being rude, if you want my 2 cents. Christopher, and now that one looks creepy. This dick is Christopher. He has opinions on what women should wear. Unfortunately, one night, he told a witch that her dress was too short, so she cursed him, forcing his spirit to inhabit a doll upon death. Now he ends up in unsuspecting women's homes and wreaks havoc whenever he sees a short hemline or an exposed breast. Leave this guy in the store. Like I said, he's a dick. D Nice goes, okay, can Hollywood hire this person to write new material so we can quit with the remakes? Exactly. Kyle, what is up? All right, this is Jennifer. Always the doll and never the bride. Jennifer is a tragic figure, killed in a freak wedding cake tasting accident. She never got the experience the wedding she was meticulously planning. She spent hours and hours on vision boards, and that energy passed on to the doll she chose to inhabit. Those who've taken her in before says her cheeks are often wet for no reason, as if she's been crying. Their Pinterest account is also mysteriously filled with wedding-themed boards they don't remember creating. She's a lot of work, but someone with a heart will hopefully take her in. A single person is preferred. One woman who got engaged while Jennifer was in her possession reported terrible dreams and scratches, as if from a jealous spirit. You can't hold it against Jennifer, though. She's been through a lot. Becky with the weird face, or this one's creepy. Come on. Becky bought that tea advertised by a fitness guru on Instagram. She shouldn't have done that. She's still in shock and living in a doll to sort through her emotions. She does nothing but creep guest out with her intensity, so don't worry. Rachel was that friend in life who showed up on time to everything. She endured all the unusual messages late friends send. I'll be right there. I just left. I'm looking for my keys. See you soon. One day, she waited so long for friends to arrive that she died of starvation. What can I say? Brunch restaurants are draconian with the seating patron rules. No one eats before the whole party is there. No one. Rachel now seeks a dependable home with someone who has a reliable schedule. You'll always find her in front of a microwave clock when you arrive home, no matter where you put her before. She might forgive you for being late once or twice, but woe to you if you're late more than that. Agatha! Agatha doesn't even want you to look at her or her emotional support pigeon. If you do, you'll be very sorry. She was a weird bird girl in life, so in death, she gets revenge as a super powerful, creepy bird ghost girl doll. I like that one. Emily! The sweet baby doll who calls herself Emily only wants to be loved and to have access to her favorite TV shows. I've never gotten her whole story, but I get the sense she died before finishing the season of some hit show she was binging. As a doll, she's making up for lost time. If you give her a home, be prepared to be startled awake at 3 in the morning by the sound of the TV turning on. The only way to ensure her sweet nature is to watch an episode of something she's not picky every night. Or leave the TV on for her to watch while you do work. In return, she'll give you love and comfort when sad. It will cost an hour a night in whatever streaming service you're paying for to keep her happy. Amber! Amber had a big heart and wanted to protect every stray cat she saw. She unfortunately also had a significant cat allergy. She did all she could for those cats until her lungs gave out. Knowing she still had work to do, Amber found a home inside this kitty doll. She brings good fortune to any person who takes in foster pets while bringing destruction to those who abuse their animals. Stacy! This one looks creepy. Yeah, she looks creepy. However, Stacy is pretty chill as far as cursed dolls go. She requires a nice latte every morning placed before her as tribute. Oat milk if you have it. But she also accepts soy or almond. Please don't take her request lightly. Without her coffee, she's known to play tricks, causing misfortune in the form of accidents like spilling soap on the carpet or dropping her keys into the toilet. Beth! Beth looks creepy too. Here we have Beth. I didn't ask her story. I was too afraid. Never trust a human or a doll who gets into autumnal decorating this much. I don't know who her last owners were. Rumor has it that she turned them into pine cones when they didn't praise her decorative gourds with the proper enthusiasm. That one was funny. All right. Guys, what did you think of these stories? Those were awesome. Somebody needs to pick her up. I'm serious. That was awesome. Heather Whatever Goes voted best BS story writer, most likely to someday be arrested while working for the government disinformation wing. Dean Nice goes, gotta have the latte. Kyle goes, Modem and Nully from season 2 of Reboot. Rochelle goes, great writer. Where are these stories at? It's on Yahoo Life. I just Googled, if you guys want to read them yourself or want to share, just it's on Yahoo Life. Just creepy dolls haunted by the ghost of millennials. I just happened to be searching and I found it. Rochelle goes, half crooked, half baked, half off the charts, everything but copied. Lisa Boo goes, brilliant sales strategy, hilarious. Heather Whatever Goes, turned into pine cones, not that. That was super cool. I just found it by accident. I was like, haunted dolls. And then I realized it was like just someone that happened. She went into an antique store and gave each doll a story. That is so cool. D Nice goes, that is gold right there. Comedy gold. Heather Whatever Goes, Hollywood does need such creativity, not part 15 of movies done already. Exactly. I agree. I totally agree. But those were cool. I got one last story, guys, before I open it up for questions. This one is a little article I found. Ghosts haunting London's busiest tunnel for over 50 years. All we know. One such tale involves a biker who offered a ride to a seemingly ordinary passenger, only to find the figure vanished into thin air upon reaching the tunnel's exit. London's Blackwall Tunnel, a subterranean passage beneath the River Thames, is more than just a congested thoroughfare. It's a canvas upon which local lore has painted a chilling portrait. At the heart of the spectral tapestry is the legend of the ghostly hitchhiker, a phantom figure said to haunt the tunnel's shadowy depths, the Metro reported. Eyewitness accounts, often shared with a mixed disbelief and intrigue, describe a spectral hitchhiker with a preference of motorcycle riders. One such tale involves a biker who offered a ride to a seemingly ordinary passenger, only to find the figure vanish into thin air upon reaching the tunnel's exit. A subsequent visit to the hitchhiker's provided address unveiled a tragic backstory. A young man had perished at the very spot in a motorcycle accident years prior. While the exact origins of the spectral tale remains elusive, the tunnel's history offers a plausible backdrop. The construction of a Blackwall tunnel was a monumental undertaking during the Victorian era, a period marked by grueling labor and inevitably a tragedy. 7 workers lost their lives in the process, their sacrifice etched in the tunnel's very fabric. It is within the historical context that the legend of the ghostly hitchhiker takes on a deeper resonance. The tunnel's enclosed space, combined with its proximity to the river and the inherent darkness associated with underground structures, creates an atmosphere ripe for the cultivation of folklore. The tragic loss of life during construction, coupled with the eerie ambience of the tunnel, has provided fertile ground for the hitchhiker legend to flourish. As a result, the Blackwall Tunnel has transformed from a mere transportation link into a locus of spectral intrigue, captivating the imaginations of locals and visitors alike. All right, guys, what did you think of that story of the Blackwall Tunnel? I've always been intrigued by stories like that, where it kind of makes you think, because someone actually passed away and they actually took the hitchhiker and they found out that that hitchhiker was a biker who passed away, is crazy. Brandon, what is up? Lisa Bugo's very interesting. That was pretty cool, actually. I always like stories like that where they say there's a haunting, and it kind of goes with folklore, where they pick up a hitchhiker and they actually pick up someone, and then as they get out of the tunnel, the person disappears, or they get to the destination, and like the one story I said, the guy picked up a girl, took her home, she left the jacket in her car. He decided to go back to the residence and found out that the girl had died in a car accident years ago. Those are crazy. Rochelle goes, wild stuff. Heather whatever goes, very cool. All right, guys, I'm going to open it up for questions. I'll give you a few more minutes to look for Skeledeck. If I don't reveal his location, just remind me, because I do forget. Heather whatever goes, scary. Don't pick up hitchhikers. I don't anyways, because nowadays you can't trust anybody. But yeah, don't pick up hitchhikers, guys. It may be a ghost. On a long dark road, but this one happens to be a busy tunnel, so that's kind of crazy. Usually the stories I read are on like a stretch of road by a cemetery or a dark road or whatever it may be. Heather, whatever, true. It's the real ones you've got to watch for, not the ones who disappear. Exactly. True. Very true. Because nowadays, you know, like there's people you can't trust people nowadays. Honestly, I've watched too many horror stories. Um, Heck, it can even be a loved one. You know, it's crazy to that amount. But it seems like the ones with the American monsters that I'm watching right now, it seems like they get into the relationship pretty quickly to where they don't realize who they're with. It seems like. So also note to self or to anybody, make sure you know the person and know what you're getting into. It is. You can't even trust people knocking on your doors anymore. It's that scary. Lisa Boo goes, these stories have been awesome. Thank you. Except for the novel I was reading about about Luis Elizondo El- Elizondo with the tongue twister last name. But it was informative. Now I have a different, I don't know about you guys, but I have a different view kind of on UFOs with the more the stuff that I'm reading. I'm kind of thinking that there is something. We just don't know. That what Lisa Boo, that was kind, it was kind of the way that it was written was kind of like a book. Lisa Boo goes, informative and interesting. Definitely it was. I mean I could have chose the other article. Is probably more um wasn't so scientific. Heather goes, that's why I pray. I've seen miracles. D Nice goes, it's like my mom's story when she worked graveyard at Kaiser Sunset. She was transporting a body to the basement. There was a man in the elevator whistling. She said it was cold and the guy looked off. She asked if he was dead and he shook his head yes while she's still whistling. He disappeared when the door opened. This was before the hospital got renovated. That is crazy. I know you told me that. That gave me chills. Lisa Boo goes, I like science though. True. I mean, I like it too, but sometimes it could get I don't know, it sometimes they could have just said psychics. You know what I mean? Or medians, but instead of using, you know what I mean? Like how they sometimes they just go off kilter. That's scary, D Nice. Your mom has a gift though, right, D Nice? So she kind of already knew at that point because I don't know. I don't think I would have asked the guy if he was a ghost. Yeah, I would not have asked. I would have been like, "Yes, I know you're a ghost. I am not asking. I don't get a bad vibe off of you, but as soon as those doors open, I'm leaving." Oh, that gave me chills. D Nice goes, "Yeah, every time she has some premonition, I'm like, don't talk to me." I mean, for sometimes it could be a gift and it could be a curse, but that's why the only reason I'm asking D Nice because not a, a regular person wouldn't ask if it was a ghost. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't ask. I mean, I probably would think it's a ghost, but I wouldn't outright ask. I'd be like, Heather, whatever goes, there are a group of people who believe that the body sticks around for 3 days before going to heaven. And also there's some cultures that will cover mirrors, um, because they believe uh that the spirit sticks around too as well. So it's not it's um there's even in a spiritual sense too. Rochelle goes, mediums and psychics have something so bad happening eventually that they reach for God and won't look back. D Dice goes, my mom is not regular. I love her, but no. Interesting. I know they think aliens could be demons as well. Um, I don't think they're demons per se. I do believe there are demons. I do believe that there's evil out there. Though I'm more of a spiritualist than I am religious. But I do believe that there's bad spirits and good spirits. I've always had since I was young. D Nice goes, the devil was an angel. But I don't think aliens are demons. I think they're a species from another planet. I don't think they're interdimensional. Maybe they could travel interdimensions. I don't not knock that off. I give that as a possibility, but Heather, whatever goes, yes, just look at some recent people in true crime. D Dice goes, aliens are just misunderstood. I think they just need to put all the speculation to rest, like I said earlier, and just tell us. They don't have to tell us the whole thing, they just need to tell us. D Nice, it's like that one TikTok of Slenderman. He just wanted to share his drawings. There's the true crime that involves Slenderman. I don't know, Slenderman. Can't say his name right now. There's a true crime case. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, of like teenage girls with the Slenderman. That's crazy. Misunderstood green people. Rochelle goes, the whistleblowers basically did admit it. They came from the ocean. I did see that. I did share, I think on a previous stream, I did share a video of a UFO coming out of the ocean as well. They could easily hide in the ocean and we would never know they were there. Or like Mr. Spock said earlier, they could be among us already and we just don't know it. Like in They Live in V. Kyle goes, green equals good, gray equals bad. Lisa Bugo's most undiscovered areas are in the ocean. True, very true. Very true. They're probably checking out the Titanic. Or in War of the Worlds. I used to watch I didn't see the movie, but I used to watch there was a TV series called War of the Worlds and I was obsessed with it when I was 12. I agree. D Nice goes, people need to go under there, but not in it. I agree. No. There's got to be better. There's got to be better technology. I feel it's sad what happened to those people, really is. But I would have never, I don't care how much money I had or have, I would have never gone in that thing. I would have never done it, period. I'd be like, hell no, I don't care how much I trusted the dude either. I would have never. Rochelle goes, I love the Titanic. Something so mysterious about it. Rochelle, in my stream from Thursday, we talked about it a little bit. Someone had found just to do a recap, someone had found a news clipping, like a newspaper about in someone's wardrobe, among other newspaper clippings, or actual newspaper. I think it was actual like newspapers of the Titanic, about the people waiting for their loved ones. So it was kind of crazy. And I also talked about the iceberg in a little bit, about about the sinking of the Titanic and the iceberg. Kyle goes, octopuses are aliens. Come on, 9 brains and 3 hearts, and they look alien. They look scary looking. It's Rochelle, it's my last video, the one about the binyip. We just kind of went down a rabbit hole. I just kind of I saw that everyone was talking about it, so I just kind of winched in, decided to talk about the article. Kyle, very true. Kyle says, and they can escape almost everywhere. That is true. D Nice is on the theory that Godzilla sunk Titanic. I want that. I want that on a shirt or a poster. I am not kidding you. I want that. That was so cool. D Nice goes, me too. Though Godzilla came out in 1954, around there, give or take. The sinking, what was it, 1912? Matthew watched the War of the Worlds TV. Matthew watched oh, that's so cool. I was obsessed with it when I was 12. I think I was 12 and it was out. I remember finding it by accident. I remember there was only like 2 seasons of it, I think, or something like that, 2 or 3. It was short-lived. Chris, hopefully you'll get home soon, but thank you. You never know, though. They're gonna say iceberg, but they're not gonna say it's on this huge monster. Try to get some rest, Chris. All right, guys, keep the questions going real quick. Skeleduck is right there where my finger is, right under the D. It's on my Toonie Terrors Jason, Friday the 13th. If you guys aren't familiar with Toonie Terrors, it's like Toonie Terrors. It's like cartoonish figurines of different horror icons, I guess. So I've got Jason, I've got the alien from It's Live, or Ash from Evil Dead. I've got Michael Myers. I've got Pinhead. He's over here because I ran out of room. There's so many others I want to get. The Mod Squad, what is up? Dusty, how's it going? Matthew, yes, he was. Adrian Paul from Highlander was in the series, in the show. I had the biggest crush on Adrian Paul from War of the Worlds. And then when I saw him in Highlander, I was like, oh. Heather Ryder goes, your skeleton is so funny. he Dusty goes, been watching the strong tropical storm that will hit my area around midnight tonight with wow, Dusty, I hope you stay safe. With winds 40 to 60 miles per hour. Dusty, stay safe. I think that's why we're having cooler weather. Like today it was only 80 degrees here in my area. I was enjoying it. Yesterday too, it was cool. I was enjoying it. Oh my gosh, I was like Rochelle goes, woohoo, skeleton landed some of the deep depth rum by the looks of him. Yeah, Dusty, that sounds scary. Stay safe. The Mod Squad, how was your weather today? I know Arizona has been scorching. I know when the first day when we arrived for Mad Monster, it was like 117. I was like, D Nice goes, I was tempted to do gardening, but the sun was too much. It was cooler, but I went on a walk and I enjoyed it. I wasn't dying. Dusty goes, will become a hurricane as it passes us and moves south of Kauai. Heather whatever goes, it snowed last night, not here. Donner, yes, like the Donner party. I heard like in Mammoth. I think they said Mammoth. There was snow last night in Mammoth. Mammoth? Heather, whatever goes here and above Tahoe too. Wow. Brandon goes, I want to go fishing or swimming tomorrow. Maybe I'll catch a ghost. Texas is full of ghosts. Brandon, you live in like an area that's super haunted too. Like your whole state is haunted. I mean, it's like here, Los Angeles is super haunted. The Mod Squad said it was about 103 here, but it honestly seemed cooler. Wow. That's hot. But I mean, considering what you've had, that's like super you've had cooler weather too. I'm counting the days where we just remain cooler. I'm just not I'm done with the heat. At first, when it starts to get hot, you're like, oh, but after that, it's like, oh, I can't take it anymore. Heather, whatever, it was 38 degrees where she is at. Wow, last night. Panda Bear goes, it's been in the 60s and it's been raining here in Oregon. Wow, you guys are lucky. I wish we could have some rain. Bernadette goes, it's a cool 69 here in Colorado. It feels nice. I think it's like 60 something here now. Oh, I'm the same, Bernadette. Heather, whatever's at 6,500 feet though, so where she's at, it's gonna be cooler no matter what. Brandon goes, I live a mile away from a battleground where people were ambushed, so it's probably is haunted. Probably, you never know, Brandon. You never know until you go and check it out. But again, not everything happens. Ghosts don't work on cue. So, all right, guys, any last minute questions? D Nice is like, Brandon, investigate, take pictures, video. See if you get a vibe. No. Thank you, Joanne. That's okay, Heather. Whatever. You're always here. And I do appreciate that. Lisa Boo, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Great show as always. Thank you, Lisa Boo. Heather, whatever, go stay safe. No hitchhiking ghosts like Disneyland. Bernie Dickos, next time I'm in Texas with you, Brandon, we're going ghost hunting. Yes! Take video, Bernadette. There's a lot of haunted places in Texas, even a haunted Walmart. Yes, we do, D Nice. I've just been busy. I've been job hunting and all that good stuff. So I've been kind of concentrating on that. But when I get a chance, D Nice, definitely. And I got something for you too from Gunner Girl that I have to give you. Dusty's been making a big pot of pumpkin beef stew in case the power goes out. That sounds, I mean, the beef part, I don't eat beef, but it sounds good. Thank you, Brandon, for your super chat. Happy Saturday hearts for Brandon, guys. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Hearts for Brandon, guys. I know, D Nice. So we got to. What do you think? I gotta make time. All right, guys. For real, any last questions? D Nice goes floppy disk or USB. I think I prefer USB. Thank you, Rochelle. And if you guys just catch the replay, we were talking about aliens, about Luis. I tongue twist his last name all the time. That's a big tongue twister. And then also a local man to me has claimed that he had a piece of UFO, so we also talked about that, and I had some spooky stories in between. All right, guys, I am going to end the stream here. Wooden, D Nice. Bernadette, real quick, last two questions. Okay, Bernadette saying Jason or Michael Myers, who would win? Oh my god, I like them both. I want to say Michael is smarter, So he probably would win, but I want to say Jason is stronger. But I think I'm gonna stick with Michael on that one. And then D Nice goes wooden or wire shelves, wooden shelves. D Nice goes thumbtacks or adhesive thumbtacks, because adhesive, when it gets hot, it goes. Oh, I did show Skeleduck, but I'll show again, Matthew. Skeleduck is right there. One last time before I end the stream. Skeleduck is right here where my finger is. He's sitting on my Jason Toonie Terror. Right underneath the D. He is right there, right where my finger is. Paint, D Nice. D Nice is asking paint or wallpaper. All right, guys. I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you guys on the next one, which will be Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there, be squared. Stay spooky and sweet nightmares, guys. Good night and have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Good night. And